Hi, my name is Aya, and I am so very excited for this next week because two of my most anticipated books this year are coming out, which are Caught Up and Hopeless. So, Caught Up comes out on October 10th, and I've already pre ordered it. I'm going to be reading it as soon as it is on my Kindle. Caught Up is the third book in the Windy City series by Liz Tomforde. The first two being Mile High and The Right Move. And The Right Move is for sure one of my favorite books I've read this year. So I have high hopes for Caught Up. It is a single dad nanny romance. The hero is a baseball player, which I've never read a romance with a baseball player. I love single dad nanny romances. We already saw Kai a little bit in The Right Move, and I'm very intrigued by his story. And then Hopeless is the fifth and final book in the Chestnut Springs series, which I've been reading that series this year, and I've been loving it so much. It's definitely one of my favorite series, and I've been looking forward to Beau's story since the first book. So Beau, he's a former military man, and now he's returned, and I believe some things have happened to him that we've heard about in the last couple of books. And this is a fake fiance type story. We've seen this bartender throughout the series. She comes from this bad family that everybody hates, and so she also gets lumped in with them. So Beau makes her deal saying, it doesn't matter what your last name is. How about you try mine on for size and see if people will treat you differently? So they do that. And listen, I love fake dating and I love Beau, so I'm very much looking forward to reading both of them. So like I said, Caught Up comes out first. It comes out on October 10th, and then Hopeless will come out on October 13th, so I'll definitely be reading both as soon as they are in my hands. I'm also, while reading other books, I'm also reading Manacled throughout this month. So I think in between them, if I finish Caught Up like a day before Hopeless comes out, I'm not going to start another book. I'm going to just read a couple chapters from Manacled until Hopeless comes out. Plus, I'm very excited because Hopeless comes out on Friday, and I have the day off on Friday, so I have all the time to read those books. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. So I'm going to say goodbye now, and you'll see me updating you on Caught Up. So I'm on chapter 11 of this book, and today I could make good progress on it, and I'm fucking loving it. This does remind me of Heartless. So if you really love that book, I would highly recommend this one. It is everything I wanted it to be. I'm loving Kai, and I'm really loving Miller. She's this spunky heroine that just says what she's thinking. And I know there's more to Kai's backstory that I'm very much looking forward to discovering. And Miller obviously has some issues. I didn't even tell you what this book is about. This is a single dad nanny romance. And Kai, so he has a son, and he didn't know about him. He didn't know the woman he slept with got pregnant and had his baby until Max, his son, was 6 months old, and he was left at his doorstep. And Kai has been taking care of him ever since. I mean, it's his son, but he the woman who birthed Max is nowhere to be found. And he feels guilty a lot of the time because, first of all, he missed the first 6 months of his life, even though he didn't know he existed. Plus, he's a baseball player, and, he's struggling between balancing that, having his career plus his son. But he's been making life difficult for himself and his team by constantly firing all the nannies that they hired to take care of Max when he has to play. So his general manager, I think, gets sick of his shit, and he basically forces his daughter to be the nanny and forces Kai to accept that fact. He can't really fire her because she's his, oh no, it's a coach, I think, his coach's daughter. And hilarity ensues. Their first fucking scene, the first scene in this book, had me swooning so hard for this couple already. The way she just his judgmentalness, his judgment, and her just carefree attitude, I loved. I also love the fact that she's a renowned pastry chef, but she's struggling coming up with recipes and stuff. So this is actually her. The reason she can be the nanny is because she's taken the summer off from cooking and stuff. And, you know, her father really wants to be near her. Her father, so the coach, already warned Kai that he shouldn't fall in love with her because she's this wild child and she'll never stick around, when I already know. I mean, it's pretty obvious. She said it multiple times in this book already that the reason she's fleeing is because she knows that if she settles down somewhere, her father will stop his career to be close to her, and she doesn't want that for him. So I'm pretty sure, even though I'm sure she has some wild child tendencies, I'm pretty sure that what she really wants is to settle down. And I'm very much looking forward to watching her do that. So yeah, so far it's already a book I'm loving. I don't know if I'm gonna love it as much as Caught Up or The Right Move, because that book is, like, right now I'm pretty sure it's my favorite book of the year. But her writing is so easy to read, and I'm just like, I was on the train today and I easily read like 50 pages in half an hour. I was like entranced. So yeah, I don't know if I can finish it today, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna read a good chunk of it tonight. And then tomorrow, hopefully I'll finish it, because today's Wednesday, tomorrow Thursday. Obviously on Friday, Hopeless comes out, and I really want to finish Caught Up before Hopeless comes out. But I'm pretty sure I can, because like I said, I've been flying through it. Okay, so I am almost finished actually. And as much as I love it, the female main character is annoying me to no end. Like, I get it. Like, I honestly, I get it. I get wanting to be the best, wanting your parent to be proud of you. I get that. I do. But, like, she is leaving everything behind for a dream that it's like not even hers and not even her dad's, and it's not making her happy. That is fucking obvious. And she's making herself miserable, Kai miserable, Max miserable. Like, girl, get a grip. And honestly, as much as I love this book, like, this is 100% a 5-star. She needs to be the one that needs to grovel or make the big gesture. If it's him again, then I'm gonna be pissed. So hopefully Liz Tomforde is not steering us wrong, and it's gonna be her that makes the big move, because the ball is 100% in her court. She just said something that frustrated me. But yeah, I do love her, but she needs to stop. Stop it. Listen, I'm gonna give you all my thoughts on this book after I finish. You guys just need to know that Kai is the perfect man, and that I have made all the wrong decisions in my life. Like, I am 100% regretting my psychology master. I should have just become a nanny, okay? Heartless. Like, I just want to be Willa, and I want to be Miller. That is all I want in life. A hot single dad. Anyway, moving on. Like I said, I'm going to give you all my thoughts once I finish, but listen, Liz Tomforde is fast becoming one of my favorite authors. This is the second book by her that I am head over heels in love with. But yeah, like I said, she could fuck this up. We're almost at the finish line, but Miller needs to step it up. I am living my best life, guys. So I'm already on page 81 for Hope. I cannot speak. I'm already on page 81 of Hopeless, and oh my god, do I love it. I love it so. I am so happy. I'm such a happy fucking camper that I have the day off today. It's Friday. I already took the day off. I don't think I thought about it when I took the day off that this book was coming out, but I am so happy with Past Aya for making this decision. I realize I still need to talk to you about my final thoughts on Caught Up, but I think I'm going to do that later. Right now, I just need to squeal from excitement. I love Bo and Bailey. I really love Bailey. I really thought she was going to be the shy heroine, and she's not.
She already asked him about anal sex, and she gives him shit, which I love. I know she's a virgin, but she doesn't act like one, which I like that because not every virgin is this shy heroine. Like, that is not like mutually exclusive. You like, not all virgins are shy. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. I just got to the part where he suggested that she take his last name so they fake get engaged, and she has not answered yet. Like, she wanted to sleep on it, but that scene was so cute. I loved it. And I'm loving this book. I'm loving it so much. I'm just living my best week. Like, this is one of the best weeks of the year this year. Reading Caught Up and reading Hopeless. Yes. Anyway, like I said, I do really want to talk to you guys about Caught Up, but I need to gather my thoughts first and read a few more chapters of Hopeless. And I really wanted to go into the city to get my favorite cupcakes. I don't know. I'm kind of obsessed with them. And I also need to go to the bank. But I can 100% read on my way there, which is like a half an hour, I think. So let me just look up a bank. Hopefully it's near where the cupcake place is. And I also need to do groceries. I think those are my 3 goals. And I want to read in between them. Maybe I want to go to the bookstore too. I don't know. We shall see. Right now, all I want to do is read. Okay, so this is pretty much stacks of books I have hauled recently. And I really want to clean this shit up and put them on the bookcases. But I don't know, as much as I love buying books, I hate putting them on my bookshelves for some reason. Like I said, I don't know why. It's just like shuffling books around, and my books are double stacked, so that provides even more of a challenge. Anyway, I'm actually leaving now to do all my errands. I'm so excited for these cupcakes. I think I already showed them in another vlog, but I don't care. I'm going to show them again. They are just my favorite. They're pretty expensive, but I don't care. So that is what I'm going to do now. Like I said, on the way, I'm going to be reading. I'm already on I've already read over 100 pages, and I'm loving it. Yeah. I have a feeling I'm going to love this a little bit more than Caught Up. Although I do have to say, these heroines really remind me of each other. Even though Bailey in Hopeless is a virgin, she's very blunt about asking Beau, especially about sexual stuff. Like, she already asked him about anal sex more than once. And I felt like Miller did the same thing, like talked about sex to fluster him. So I kind of like that comparison. Like, on the surface, you would think these girls have nothing in common. One of them is tattooed and seems very free sexually, whereas the other one is still a virgin. But obviously, like, there was this scene where she talked about her vibrators and him just literally putting his hands on her mouth just to shut her up. I love that. Like, I am loving this. I'm loving this book very much. One thing I'm not loving is how little we see of the rest of the Edens, which I get because of, he's struggling, and, that is, I'm pretty sure it's going to be his character journey. I have a feeling he's going to be leaving Chestnut Springs by the end of the book, which kind of makes me sad because Harvey is one of my favorite characters. I love him. And, he obviously wants his whole family to be together. But I guess we'll see. Hopefully we're going to get a family dinner pretty soon because Harvey and his antics, what is this? They just make me very happy. So yes, I guess I'll just do my errands and I'll update you once I get back, and hopefully get this mess sorted too once I get back. Which actually, a lot of them are the Chestnut Springs books. So I have all 4 of them here. Part of me just wants to wait until Hopeless is in my possession to put them all next to each other, but Hopeless arrives on Tuesday, and right now it's Friday. So anyway, I'll just save a spot for it once it arrives. Okay, so I got my cupcake. I got 4, and I got a little beat up on the way, but that's okay because I could bathe in this cream cheese frosting. So delish. So I'm gonna enjoy my cupcake, and then I'm gonna tell you my thoughts on Caught Up. Okay, so I just got back, and I figured
let's show you my haul, because of course, aside from my cupcakes, I also went book shopping, which I probably shouldn't have done because there's a big video coming up in November that I really need to buy books for, so I should save up my money for that video. But anyway, I went to Waterstones. First of all, I got this cute little bookmark. This one, I saw them at the register, and I know Meg from Meg with Books talks about that these are her favorite bookmarks. She has like a seal one, and I saw this Arctic Fox and I fell in love, so I bought it. Then I saw that they have buy one get one half price, but usually they're books that I'm not that interested in. The romances are never buy one get one half price, because I'm pretty sure like I would buy all the romances if that was the case. But then I saw this one, I saw The Maid, and I've been interested in reading it for a while now. So I figured, okay, let's just buy this and see if I can find another book that also has buy one get one half price. And I saw the newest Celeste Ng book. So I've read one Celeste Ng and I own the other one that I'm also still very interested in. So I bought Little Fires Everywhere, and I did really enjoy it. So I figured let's just buy this one as well. So these two I got for buy one get one half price. So The Maid is, I believe this won the mystery thriller Goodreads Choice Award last year. It's about this maid and like this mystery revolving the maid, and I really love the UK edition. So yeah, lately I've been very much in the mood for especially mysteries, so I'm thinking hopefully I can read it soon. Then I got Our Missing Hearts. I don't know what this is about. I mainly bought it because of the author. Let me actually just read what it says. Okay, this sounds very interesting actually. It has a male main character, which I'm pretty sure she's never had a male main character. You follow a 12-year-old bird whose mother disappeared, and he doesn't know what happened to her. And she was a famous American poet, a Chinese American poet, and her books have been banned. And he kind of resents her for leaving him. And then one day he receives a mysterious letter containing only a cryptic drawing, and soon he's pulled into a quest to find her. His journey will take him back to the many folktales she poured into his head as a child, through the ranks of an underground network of heroic librarians, and finally to New York City, where he will finally learn the truth about what happened to his mom and what the future holds for them both. Yeah, it sounds good. Like I said, I already read one of her books. I've been very interested in reading her first book she's ever published. So, very hyped about this. Then I saw this book, and I was immediately intrigued by the cover, because this is one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen. I love it. And then I looked on Goodreads, and I saw that it doesn't have that many ratings, and I have never heard about this book, so I figured let's just buy it, because lately with the books that I read, either their next books in series I've already loved, or they've been very hyped. So I've heard a lot of things about them, and I kind of miss reading books that I've never really heard anything about. So I figured and that is my justification. The real reason I wanted it is because of the cover. But still, I kind of like the justification. It says here, readers, the man I love is trying to kill me. So it sounds like a sort of a mystery as well. Okay, actually, what's in here is actually, it sounds very, very interesting. To the reader with an acquisitive mind and fearless disposition, you are invited to embark on a quest, a treasure hunt, if you will, down a path only the brave dare tread. Within this book, like pages from a diary, ripped out and hidden by a woman in love, terrified for her life. Inside the diary, she concealed a trail of clues, all pointing to a faded tome, the Birdcage Library, found in her possessions after she disappeared. The clues, once solved, lead to the location of a secret so prized a man might go to any lengths to find it. What was the fate of the diary's owner, and what of the treasure she guarded so fiercely? Curious reader, can you unlock the mystery? Will you set her secret free? Doesn't that sound good? Anyway, this is my little haul. And I kind of hate myself, but I'm also very happy. Moving on to my thoughts on Caught Up. I gave this book 5 stars. To be honest, it kind of pales in comparison a little bit to The Right Move, because that book is still one of my favorites of the year. But Caught Up was beautiful, honestly. I loved watching her fall in love with both Kai and Max. I always love that in single dad nanny romances, the way the significant other not only falls in love, They usually fall in love with the kid first, which I love to see that. And Kai was such a great guy. I loved him so much. I loved how he loved his son. I loved at one point how he realizes that even without Miller, he has so many people in his life that love him and love his kid. And I loved watching them fall in love. The only thing I didn't love, which I think I alluded to it in an earlier clip, is I get Miller's reasonings for wanting to leave, but I felt like this book was a little bit too big. And I said the same thing in the first book. I feel like if it was a little bit shorter, even with her reasonings, it wouldn't have bothered me as much. But I feel like since it was so big, at one point I was just annoyed at Miller, and I was like, you know what, fuck you. She became a little bit less likable to me because of the amount of pages we spent with her just trying to run away, and us knowing as the reader, at least me knowing as the reader, this career is obviously not fulfilling for her. She obviously wants something else in her life. But because it was just over 500 pages, I think if this book was 450 pages or even 400 pages, and we spent a little, like, and still the same plot beats of her falling in love, her still telling him this cannot be anything serious, her still leaving by that set point. The fact that I had to spend pages and pages and pages of her convincing herself, convincing Kai, and convincing the reader that she needs to really leave, it kind of brought this book down for me. Not enough to give it less than 5 stars, because I love the writing and I did really love watching them fall in love, and I did really love, without trying to spoil it, the way they came back together in the end. I did feel like Liz Tomforde did that very well, and I loved reading it, and I thought the sex scenes were top notch. I think she did a very good job with the sex scenes. And there was a scene in here where they were forced to have like this one bed trope, which was hilarious to me. So her father travels with them because he's like the coach, I guess. And at one point they have like a little date, and the dad is watching Max. And then when they get back, he like fell asleep snoring in Kai's bed, and now he's forced to go sleep in Miller's bed. And I love that scene so much. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. I think Liz Tomforde is fast becoming one of my favorite authors. I have really, like, I gave Mile High 4 stars. I gave The Right Move and Caught Up 5 stars. And The Right Move is, like, without a shadow of a doubt, one of my favorite books I read this year. It's definitely going to be in my top, at least the top 5, if not my favorite book I read this year. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed my time reading it. And I do feel like, so I was reading this while I was working as well. Whereas right now, the book I'm reading right now, Hopeless, I have the day off, so I can really indulge and read like chapters at a time. Whereas obviously, and with my job the way it is now, I don't have time to read while working. So yeah, maybe that also had something to do with it. But I do feel like the page length, like that is one of my only criticisms I have with Liz Tomforde's books. They are pretty, like, they are very big, and sometimes they don't need to be. I feel like The Right Move, even though it was a bigger book as well, I feel like that page length was perfect for it because there was a lot going on, and I felt like nothing was dragged out too much. Whereas in this book, I did feel like obviously it did need to be this big because you had to go from Kai thinking she was out of her mind to, you know, trusting him with the only thing, like the one thing he cares about most in the world. So it did need to be over 300 pages, but did I feel like it needed to be 500? No. Because like I said, the consequences for it being that long is me disliking the heroine a little bit. And don't get me wrong, I don't dislike her, not at all. Like, I did really love reading about her, but just like the end and her insisting that she needs to leave, and like that, when I knew that she didn't want to leave, that was the main problem here. Anyway, moving on to Hopeless. But like I said, but before you get any wrong thoughts here, I still really loved it. I would highly recommend it. It's a great single dad nanny romance, and I fucking loved it. Moving on to Hopeless. Oh my god, do I love this book. Like, my heart is melting. I love Bo and Bailey together. And in fact, I might love Bailey more than I love Bo. Bailey is fucking perfect. The way that she's this town pariah, and like I just read this one scene where Bo is being pretty petty to a girl that was mean to her in high school, and like I just literally read this line. You know, she's telling him that he's being petty, and he asks her how's her doing her job being petty, and she says, you know, don't stoop to their level, Bo. It's unbecoming. She's 22, he's 35. I fucking love Bailey. I only want good things in her life. Fucking love her. And we just had the quintessential Eaton family scene, which I love. I love how the family just like brought her into their fold. I love this family. I'm very sad to be leaving them. But I do feel like my hunch of him not staying in Chestnut Springs is a good one. Because even Bailey says it at one point, like, it feels like he doesn't belong here. And she really wants to leave town because she feels like the town pariah. So I am on page 182 and I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. I do feel like I'm going to finish this book today. Kindle says I have 4.5 hours to finish it. And I'm pretty sure I did most of my errands. I still kind of need to go to the grocery store, but it started raining and I really don't feel like it. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with dinner. Let's see. Yeah. Maybe I will go because I have like half of the ingredients for the dish I want to make. But I guess I could make it tomorrow and figure out another way to do dinner. Let me actually see how long it's going to rain for. It's going to rain the whole day. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that I fucking want to keep reading. So I'm going to do that. I don't know if I can update you anymore because obviously I feel like I'm already treading spoiler territory and I really don't want to spoil this book for you. So I guess unless something really, really big is happening that I really want to talk about, I will update you when I actually finish. Also, one thing I did want to say, I think I talked about a little bit of the similarities between these two heroines. So I talked about how they're both very, very comfortable in talking about sex and making the main male characters very uncomfortable doing that. But there's another similarity here that I didn't know about. So very funny to read them back to back because I don't think I would have noticed it if I didn't read them back to back. So in Caught Up, the Miller has this van that she turned into like her own home, and Kai wants her to live with him, but she refuses. So he asks her to at least park her van in his backyard so that she can at least live near him. And the same sort of deal is happening with Hopeless, where she obviously lives at her family's property, but they treat her like shit. She's not safe there, and she pays an exorbitant amount of money living there. So he tells her that she has to come live with him because nobody would believe that his fiance, like he would allow his fiance to live that kind of life. But she doesn't want to live in his house. So, and she has her own trailer, even at her family's place. So he decides to, like they decide to put her trailer at his property next to his house. So that is also like a similarity. So yeah. I'm living my best life this week. I'm so happy these books came out back to back. And like I said about Liz Tomforde, the same applies to Elsie Silver. She's definitely one of my favorite authors. And she's going to come out with another series next year. That one I'm definitely going to read. And I'm also going to read her Wishing Well Ranch. I think that, no. Wishing Well, wait, what's that series called? Her other series. Definitely going to read that. Her first series, definitely going to be reading that next year as well. And I cannot wait. It's called Golden Rush Ranch. So yeah. Comparing it to Reckless, right now I'm definitely loving Hopeless more. So I definitely think it's going to be another 5-star for Elsie Silver. Okay, I'm just all over the place with this video, but I just realized that there were two things I really wanted to talk about when it came to Caught Up. The first thing is that what I also really loved about this book is that it didn't focus so much on his fame. That was definitely a team appropriate since it's a sports romance. That was definitely a theme in the first book and especially in the second book, that those heroes were so famous and like the tension in those relationships, and even like the third act conflict also had something to do with their fame. And even though it was mentioned, obviously, that he's a baseball player and that he was famous, you never really got to see that side, which I really love. I don't really love reading about famous people. It's just not my thing. Even though The Right Move, like I said, is one of my favorite books, it does deal with that. I think it dealt with it really well. I did find it refreshing that like they were both kind of famous, but we never really saw like the paparazzi and people following them around and stuff like that. So that is what I really loved. Also, I am so excited about the fourth book. She set that book up so well in this book. Like I'm already very excited about that couple. You follow his brother in the fourth book. And like I said, I think she set that up so well. So another baseball romance. And I don't want to tell you a lot about that because this book obviously just came out and it is a big like surprise when you find out like the premise of that book. Like she does set it up so well. So yeah, I don't know when that book comes out. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be next year. She published, I think, did she publish all of them in 2023? I don't think so. I think she published, so Mile High she published in 2022, and then The Right Move and Caught Up she published in 2023. So I'm pretty sure the fourth one, which let me actually see what that book is gonna be called, or what that book is called, Play Along. So yeah, very, very excited about that one. Okay, so I made good progress. I put away all my paperbacks. The only books I need to put away are the hardbacks, and those are the most difficult because I really don't see any space for them. But I was thinking of, let me actually show you. So I have like books that are differently shaped and like a little bit odd in the way they look, like mostly are classics. And I was thinking of putting them on my TV. I know my house is a mess, don't look at it. But I have like a TV bookcase. Maybe I'll put them there. So that will leave me room at least here and there and here. So I don't know, we'll see. The bookshelves, especially this fourth one, which I have 3 facing this way and then 1 this way. This bookshelf I have not really figured out. There's a lot of indie paperbacks here. And yeah, like I said, it's still a work in progress. And let me actually show you where most of the paperbacks have went or have gone. So I finally, speaking of this vlog, I have space here for Powerless and Caught Up. So very excited about that. I think this looks very pretty. And I'm thinking of removing these two to the back so that most of the books here are kind of like softer toned colors, although the fine print is not that. But yeah, very happy with all the Elsie Silvers next to each other, and I cannot wait to put Hopeless here. And then this series is going to be at least 5 books, maybe even more, but very excited. All right, I'm here to give you my final thoughts on Hopeless and end this vlog. I fucking loved it. I read it all in one day, which it has been a hot minute since I did that for a full-length book. The Kindle version I had about 500 pages, although I did see that the paperback was around 400 something pages. Either way, I was thoroughly enjoying myself. I love this book. I thought it was a perfect way to end the Chestnut Springs series. And I really loved like finally getting to know Bo. He's been obviously a part of this family since the first book. I mean, he's one of the Eaton boys, but he was always mysterious. He was never around all that much. And now finally getting to know about him, see his struggles, really trying to figure out what he wants to do in life. I thought that was wonderful. And Bailey completely stole my heart. I fell in love with her just as much as I fell in love with Bo in this book. I thought she was such a strong character and I felt so sorry for her, and she was so mature even though she was only 22. And that really showed itself in the third act conflict. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it because I don't want to spoil it, but the way she especially handled that was so unbelievably mature. And I just really admired her as a character. I loved their banter. I loved the type of virgin that she was. I think I talked about it in one of the earlier clips. But as much as there's a place for the shy heroine, the shy virgin that doesn't know anything, we live in 2023. I was a virgin for a very long time, and I knew everything there was to know about sex. So in the day and age we live in, it's very easy for virgins, if they're interested in sex, obviously, to figure out information and to figure out what they actually want. So yeah, like I said, I really love the way the book like ended, the scene it ended on. And as much as I'm very sad to be leaving Chestnut Springs, I'm very excited to see what Elsie Silver is going to do next. She did announce a new book, and she did say that the hero for that book was introduced in this book, and there was only really one character introduced in this book. That is interesting. No, but like really, so I'm assuming it's going to be him, and if it is him, I'm going to be so excited for the next series, and I'm really excited to go back and read her first series. And I just had the most amazing time reading these books this week. Like, they did not disappoint for me. I gave them both 5 stars. If I have to pick a favorite, I think it's gonna be Hopeless, because I did feel like Caught Up was a little bit too long. But other than that, like I said, I gave them both 5 stars, and they were excellent additions to series that are already favorites. I did write a Goodreads review for Hopeless. Let me see if I forgot anything that I really wanted to say. Yeah, no. Like I said, like I knew that I was gonna love Bo. I just didn't expect Bailey to completely steal my heart, and she absolutely did. I was rooting for her every step of the way, and I felt like the problems these two had was very realistic. If I have one criticism, it's the opposite for Caught Up. I think Hopeless could have been 50 chapters longer, or not 50 chapters, oh my god, 50 pages longer, and I would have really loved to explore a little bit more about Bailey and her future plans, and really understand Bo and what, like, eventually, like, we found out what he was going to be planning on doing with his life, but I would have liked a little bit more insight into how he got to that. And obviously he was dealing, I don't know if he was officially diagnosed, but there's a point in here where he diagnoses himself with PTSD. I would have really loved to explore that a little bit more, and maybe even for him to actually go to therapy and not just have like this perfect girl save him, which is honestly what kind of happened. But those are really nitpicky things. I really love this. It might actually be one of my favorites in the series. I think I have to sit on it. Right now, Powerless is my favorite in this series, but I think this might be either my second favorite, or it might actually be my favorite. But I don't know. That is a question for another time. Oh my god, I don't know what is up with this lighting. But anyway, it's very bright. Let me see if... I don't know. I'm just gonna go. What I want to say is, if you've not read these series yet, I would highly recommend it. Please pick up the Chestnut Springs series. You can binge them now because all of them are out. And I would highly recommend the Windy City series. I don't think any dates have been announced for when these authors are coming up with new books, obviously considering both books came out literally this week. But I cannot wait, and I would highly recommend them. And if you've been hesitant to pick up the next books in the series, especially, I could understand after The Right Move that you'd be hesitant. I would say don't be, because this was an excellent addition to the series. And I just, like, I really loved... I was living my best life this week. This might be one of my best weeks this year because of these 2 books. But yeah. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you've read either one of them. I would really love to know your thoughts on them. Or if you're excited to pick these up, just leave all your thoughts below. And I would really love to know, what is your favorite Chestnut Springs book? I know a lot of people, Heartless is their favorite, which I understand. I think I read that book in a really weird time in my life where I was slumping hardcore. Yeah, it's not really my favorite, but I still love it, obviously. Anyway, leave all your thoughts in the comments below, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving me a like if you do. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.